Gavin, there were more than 130 applicants for the manager's role, some with top flight experience. What was it about Gary which stood out to the board?
We already know Gary. Gary knows the league, and Gary knows our immediate priorities. We've obviously, Gary's been in place for a few weeks, and conversations have been ongoing about support staff, about players, should Gary be successful, and we felt it was necessary to hit the ground running so that we can recruit as soon as possible, get the support staff in as soon as possible, and give ourselves best chance of getting out of the relegation zone.
So with Gary already in place, which you've alluded to there, why did it take 4 weeks to confirm?
We needed to make sure Gary was the best candidate. We've had candidates, as we've said, we've been clear about, from Premier League experience, Championship experience. However, they didn't know League One as well as Gary. Gary, in his interviews, presented a team approach whereby he feels that he's very strong with the younger players, he's very strong with League One, but a criticism that could be levied at him was a lack of experience, and therefore during the interviews he presented the idea of a mentor as well, to mitigate any inexperience he's got. It's something that the board was already mindful of and had discussed. So as well as Gary being the best candidate, he presented the best package that we believe gives us best chance going forward.
So when clubs appoint internal candidates, there's always a suggestion that it's a cheap option or an easy option. How would the board address that?
It wasn't the cheap option. Crudely, we'd pay any appointee the same money, so it's not cheap. Equally, Gary, as I say before, and the board were already considering strengthening the support staff, and therefore spend on football staff will be greater than it was before. So 100% not the cheap option. Also regards whether it's the easy option, I'd go the other way and describe it as the hard option, because obviously there could be a public perception that Gary's already in the building, it's the easy thing to do. Perhaps the easiest thing to do would have been to bring an external candidate in, which may have got greater attention for the first week or so, but ultimately the only thing that the manager and the club will be judged on is results, and therefore we've done what we believe will give us the best chance of getting the best results as quickly as possible.
So Gary suggested initially that it was the board who suggested he put his CV in. What was the board's thinking behind sort of encouraging him to take it?
Because the player reaction to him and Frank, to be fair, was so positive. The mood at the changing room ground, was much lighter, equally hard-working, and you could see things on the field happening immediately where Gary was putting his ideas into place. I know we didn't score against Sunderland, for instance, but you can see there's great attacking intent. Frank's worked very hard with the defence to make us harder to score against, and these are all things that obviously we will need going forward.
And what has, so now that the appointment has been made permanent, what objectives has Gary been set out by the board?
Well, Gary and the board are meeting today to look at recruitment of players, sign off, hopefully, intended targets. Also, Gary's next meeting is then with myself and Kirsty to look at securing his support staff. So very, very quickly, we look to move forward with mentor, goalkeeping coach, assistant manager, set-piece coach, etc., and also very, very quickly, we look to move forward with the recruitment of players. It is important to note, because I've seen things out there about will the players be available for the 1st of January. Any player recruited for this transfer window will not be available for the 4th of January, and that's across all clubs in the EFL.
So you've mentioned sort of a mentor there, but there's also been some talk about potentially appointing a director of football. Is that still in the plans?
It will be a conversation that we have with the mentor, with Gary. We wouldn't want it to be an adversarial process. We want it to be in a process where we all buy into it together, and it adds to the football staff and adds to the board, rather than being an aggressive act. But we are looking, and we will look with those two guys primarily at how we strengthen the football structure to protect our current performances, give us the best chance, as we said before, but also look in the future about what a Doncaster Rovers team looks like, what a recruitment of a player looks like. So yeah, those conversations will be ongoing from this afternoon.
And finally, Gary's obviously done an excellent job in the under-23s and under-18s. 2021, arguably the best year for the academy in terms of players coming through. What is the succession plan now for the academy that he's vacated that role?
Yeah, we've already got candidates in mind for the academy role. However, we will test the market to make sure we get the best candidate for that role, because, as you say, the academy is producing some real players for the future now, and productivity is probably as high as it's ever been, if not better. So we need to get that appointment right. But again, we need Gary to say what he wants from that role as well, how he wants the players to look when they join the first team squad. So again, conversations ongoing, but we've got conversations that we think could move pretty quickly on that one.